going to ask Mark Adkins to do our prayer, and Kevin Rigsby, you get to do our pledge tonight. If you'll all stand with us, please.
Father, we come before you today, Lord, just once again thanking you for everything that you do and give to us, and the blessings that you bestow upon each one of us and our families and our citizens, Father, Lord. We just ask that you continue to watch over all those people that work for our town and in any capacity, Father, and just be with them and their families as they go out and do their work. We also ask that you bless the citizens of our town and keep them safe. Lord, as we enter into a season of fall, Lord, we just...
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kevin. So at this time, our Public Information Officer, Heather Kent, is going to give a Town of Smyrna branding update. Heather?
And so as I've asked Heather to go ahead and give this update, we worked several months ago on developing a logo that would, and Heather will talk about it, developing a logo that we can use to promote and brand the town and bring some unity for our employees, something they can get around and be proud of. And so we did that, and you all were there at the launch when we had I think that was the Government Services Week, and we provided a little bit of swag, and by and large I think most people really bought into it, and as well as community members who saw it, and hopefully y'all did too. But the truth of the matter is it kind of got ahead of us because as much as people embraced it, they wanted to start using it immediately. And we were still working on our branding package and how we would use it, how we would roll it out, how it would be intertwined and used along with the seal. And so we're at that stage now. We wanted to present to you some ideas that we had in terms of how that would be used, how the seal would still be used. And with that, I'll hand it over to Heather.
Great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to present to you for your consideration the proposed usage of the town logo. My presentation outlines the guidelines for consistent application and highlights how the logo will be used across various platforms moving forward, possibly. As Dave touched upon when I met with him, we talked about branding and communications, not just as a design element, but excuse me, as a strategic tool. And importantly, we wanted to design something that would complement, a logo that would complement the town seal. The town seal remains an important and permanent emblem of our history and authority and is not going away. Instead, the logo is meant to work alongside of it, providing a modern and flexible identity that can be used in a different manner than the seal. So we're hoping that the seal and the logo work hand in hand to enhance each other. This is our logo, and I want to talk a little bit about our brand mark origin on here. The brand mark represents heritage, progress, and identity as a unified symbol for the town of Smyrna. The bottom part represents the locomotive, which reflects Smyrna's historic connection to the railroad and the role it played in shaping our growth. As you see, the aircraft honors our military legacy through Seward Air Force Base. And the tire wheel in the middle, which represents Smyrna's strength and reputation in automotive manufacturing. And then, as you'll notice, the TriStar, which was inspired by the Tennessee state flag. Right here is our logo and our town seal. And the seal anchors us in history and authority. Together, they will create a balanced identity that will honor tradition while embracing the future. They will complement each other, and each has its rightful place together that embodies credibility, heritage, and recognition. Logo usage. Some best practices for our logo usage would be general communications of everyday correspondence and outreach, letters, memos, press releases, staff email signatures, town website, social media, community-facing materials such as flyers, brochures, Events and programs, brand visibility, employee uniforms, vehicles, promotional merchandise, and workplace materials such as PowerPoints, internal reports, etc. The idea is the logo would create consistent recognition across each channel. Additionally, when to use the town seal, best practices for that would include key applications such as town council documents, ordinances, resolutions, proclamations, official minutes and agendas, legal and regulatory documents, contracts, deeds, easements, permits, licenses, and official certificates, notices required by law, zoning, annexation, and other mandated postings, financial and administrative documents, bond, debts, instruments, notarized materials, town clerk functions that include official correspondence, records and compliance document, election materials, including ballots, qualifying papers, statutory forms, etc. So the seal represents authority, authenticity, and the formal voice of the town. It should appear on documents that carry only the legal, regulatory, or official weight, ensuring they are recognized as binding and legitimate. We have two logos. On the left, you'll see our primary logo, which has the my in it, and the my is a symbol of My Smyrna, and it reminds residents, business owners, and visitors alike that Smyrna is not just a town, but their community. The secondary logo just doesn't have the Y underneath it outlined. We also have our My Smyrna stacked usage primary logo standards and alternate color applications listed here for your consideration. Alternate color palette applications. And additionally, for consideration, we proposed creating an internal apparel store that would allow employees to purchase merchandise featuring the new logo. As you heard earlier, town employees have expressed an interest in having access to branded apparel. In its initial phase, the store would be limited to employees with the option to expand into a second phase to offer apparel purchasing opportunities possibly to the public. So that's the logo. I'm available for questions.
Comments or questions from council?
I have a question. Was there a committee formed for this branding?
We did that internally with staff, myself, Heather, Casey Kennard, and Amber, as well as the company that we had work on this this logo as well. So
Was council involved with that process?
council was shown the logo when we got to kind of a final design prior to really kind of producing it, but in terms of actually designing it, no.
And who did the branding, and was that sent out for RFQ?
It was not sent out for RFQ because of the cost.
Okay.
The cost was extremely.
Less than 10?
Much less than 10.
Okay.
It was $1,500.
Yeah.
And the gentleman who did it was,
He designed our town seal.
I know, but what was it, the company or the name of the individual, I forget.
Brandon?
Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
Allen
yeah,
Brandon.
Okay.
yeah.
Also, since this is official, who gave the final say? I'm just trying to figure out, did council have any input on it? You know, because this, I had zero input. I don't know who else did. And now we're at the point we're adopting it.
Sure, so that's why we're here today, to get
Yeah.
your input on it and its use, and again.
I mean, I like it. I'm just trying to figure out the process we went through.
Yeah, so I can go through that. We talked about, as Heather talked about, we wanted to really take an intentional look at
Right.
how we do marketing and communication moving forward and make sure there's a consistency about it. We looked at ways in which we can develop a brand. And through that, we met with the gentleman who helped us with the design. We talked a little bit about ensuring that it was preserving the history of how the town was developed. And I think that's the elements that we tried to bring into it. Went through a few iterations, colors, what colors we should use, why we should use them, just not to get in the weeds, but green and blue typically represent colors of the landscape, and so we wanted to use that. And also just to the TriStar, making sure that it represented Tennessee, our obviously being in Tennessee, as well as the volunteer spirit of the community as well. And so with that, like I said, we put this together, shared this prior to us actually producing anything, and then wanted to get into the next phase, which would be, okay, what does the branding guide look like? And then what would be the use of the logo as well? And that's where we are.
Jerome, I don't disagree with what you're saying, and Dave and I have had that conversation that council should have had more involvement in this. And it was when he very first, I think it was even before the retreat, I think. And I think that's probably the first time that we saw it. Honestly, it should have been brought to us as council at the retreat, and it wasn't.
Well, this, and I love the logo, I'm not discouraging that. I'm just saying I think everyone should have buy-in, because this is a long-term thing for the town, the whole town.
Totally.
And I'm not discrediting what y'all did, I'm just saying I would have enjoyed maybe being through that process a bit.
Well, and deciding if that's what we wanted or
Yeah.
not. But I do agree also with what you said. I don't think that it's a bad-looking logo. I
Right.
think it talks about the things that make up Smyrna
Right.
and what is Smyrna's foundation. But I also agree that we're where we're at now. And I think council has to decide, are we okay with the logo like it is now?
Sure.
And if we are okay with it, are we okay with moving forward with the guidelines that have been set up? But Dave and I did have that conversation, so.
And now that we're here, where we are with it, that's where we are.
Where we are.
But I do want to give thanks and appreciation to those people who did pour themselves into it and try to make it something that's presentable. I mean, there's a lot of work that went into this. Maybe the process could have been different. I don't know, but thank you to those that did the work on it. You did great work, so.
Mark, I agree. I think they did a fantastic job. It looks great. Heather, a question. If people outside of the town, a lot of times we have vendors and all that are downtown, can they use this logo, or do they have to get approval to use it if they're wanting to sell and make stuff that's got it on it?
Well, typically, we would send the logo to them if they wanted to use it,
Okay.
because it would have to be sent in a certain file format,
Okay. So
certain
we don't
DPI.
copyright it or anything like that, do we? Okay.
With the seal, they have to get approval. They have to get a letter signed by us. Will it be this way with this as well?
If you choose for it to be so. So once you've formally adopted, then we can provide basically like Tennessee's version of copyrights for municipalities. Choose to do so, if you adopt it officially next month.
Okay.
I personally think we would want to do that, just to protect it.
How it's used.
Yeah, I reached out to Dave, was it been a couple of weeks ago, with a lot of the same things you just answered. Actually, he sent me probably the first draft of your document, of your plan of how we're going to use it. He sent me that within a few minutes, so I know you guys had already been working on it, but I contacted Dave with some of the same questions. Just I started seeing it showing up on different, I guess just in different places around town, and I was just curious how it was gonna be used in a conjunction with the seal. You know, obviously you didn't want it to replace the seal, but where's the seal gonna be used and where's the logo gonna be used? And so I appreciate you putting that down on paper and documenting that so that it's more clear for everyone. Because that was, the only thing I was concerned about is, you know, I didn't wanna start seeing it showing up on, you know, official vehicles and stuff as a primary logo. That's one thing to be a secondary with the seal, you know, maybe a sticker on the back or on the window or something, that's one thing. But that was my only concern. I do remember, you know, Dave kind of showing us this when he first came out, and I'm gonna be honest, you know, generally we were asked, what do we think about the logo? We looked at it and we said, yeah, it looks great. I mean, I kind of like the design, I understand the style, everything's fine. I don't think any of us realized how it was going to be used or what the plan for it going forward was. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be something that was used for T-shirts and cups and mugs and that kind of thing. I didn't really think about the larger use. And that's just as much me as it is anybody. I didn't ask the question. So that was really my only feedback was, it seemed like we kind of got the cart before the horse a little bit, but now we're catching up.
Other comments or questions? So, oh, sorry.
What about the flag?
I didn't have any intentions to do anything with the flag unless directed to. I know we currently have a flag and no plans to do anything with that unless you all think.
We just got the
is-
flag changed one time before, and I just didn't like it at all.
Mhm.
And we weren't consulted about it. This was before you were here, okay? But we weren't consulted about it at all, and I don't know. I guess it's kind of like what Jerome said. You know, I would like some input on the more significant places that it'll appear.
Sure. And so the information that we provided to you today is how we would move forward unless there are some things that you want to change. And specifically, I'll mention what Councilman Sullivan said. He said he'd prefer to see the seal on vehicles and maybe there's just a sticker. And currently, that's not how the guidelines read, which we can obviously change at your direction. And so the other point I wanted to make is you talked about formally adopting this, and if we do that, we can bring that forward on the next meeting for your approval. However, if you want to have more discussion and a deeper look and just really kind of look at those guidelines a little bit closer and provide feedback, we could certainly hold off and wait for that discussion. But that's certainly up to the council. I just want to put that out there to make sure that we
So my
follow your
thought on the
direction.
vehicle conversation, and I'm not just police and fire, that's kind of obvious. There's a police seal and a fire seal. That's kind of discounting those for right now. Specifically, codes enforcement, parks, although those may not be officers, that in some cases they are official. And especially if they're rolling up on a site, I think it's important that they have the town seal on the side of their vehicle, so there's no ambiguity that they're here representing the town in an official capacity. And that's my concern. I don't want the logo to send the wrong message that, you know, it's just a town employee, they really have no authority, right? I think it kind of might usurp their authority a little bit. Parks officials, they cruise kind of through the park. I know Mike's team has helped us with enforcing no alcohol in the park and some things like that. I think it holds a lot when they pull up in a town vehicle with a town seal and they've got town clothes on. If they get out and say something about someone violating a rule versus someone like us who have, you know, just a T-shirt on, walk up and tell them not to do it. They think we're just some citizen not minding our own business. So I think that's where it seems like it'd be too hard to figure out which vehicles to include it on and which ones not.
Agreed.
So it might be easier to just say the vehicle keeps the seal. That's where I'm coming from.
So let's kind of take a step back, even though we're where we're at right now. Are we okay with the way that the logo looks? And
I'd
are
still
we-
like to spend some time looking at the applications of it that are listed here, and maybe come back at the next workshop and get the input in and possibly approve it who knows what month it is anymore, September or November, 1st of November.
November.
But are you talking about the logo itself or just the
No, no, no.
applications? That's
I mean,
where I'm
personally,
at
I'm
with the
okay with the
logo.
logo. I mean.
That's what I wanna see.
understand. Honestly,
Because-
I didn't, I mean, I like it. It looks good and everything like that, but my first thought was no. And I'm pretty traditional when it gets down to it. I don't like change, so it's like, no, I don't want to do that. But then I have shown it to many people and nobody has given me any bad feedback on it. So I respect where we're going with it.
HG understatement of the year, traditional.
So is everybody okay with the logo itself and moving forward and then having more discussion about the application? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you'll give us time to look at this and let's plan on next, do you want to do it at the next workshop? Is that kind of what
Yeah.
you, okay. So next workshop, and then we will, Jeff, in addition to that, if for the next workshop, if you can have the form that we would have, like we do for the seal, just so we can kind of see that. Is there anything else anybody would like to see? We do appreciate all the work, and we hope you all understand, we're just passionate about our community and really want to be involved, so, but we appreciate all the hard work. Okay. So thanks, Heather. Public comment period. The town's public comment period shall be reserved for those citizens that have signed up to address the town council or board or committee at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Pursuant to the town's public comment policy, speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Additional comments will be submitted in writing. Amber, do we have any comments tonight? Okay. Our proposed consent agenda items are items 1 through 12. I have been guilty of this myself. If the consent agenda is put on, so hopefully we can move through those items quickly. When we get to the actual voting meeting, most of them are contracts. If there's something you have a question on, if you can try to get those answered in this meeting or talk to Dave or that director or department head prior to the meeting, and I know there's always going to be questions that for some reason pop up when we're actually get to the voting meeting. I think that will help our meetings move through quicker. So our first 12 items are the consent agenda items. The first one is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Motorola Solutions via a state contract relative to the purchase of radios and related communications equipment and software for the fire department. Chief Goss, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Wonderful.
So this item references a purchase through Motorola Solutions for mobile radios, portable radios, and video equipment to go in our new apparatus. This was, or has been budgeted in our capital budget in the total of $153,100, and the total of this equipment came in at $134,947. So this may not be everything we need to purchase out of those line items in their entirety, but we are well within the parameters set in the capital budget. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, later on in the agenda, we have item 10, which is an MOU with the city of Murfreesboro, Laverne, and Rutherford County for consolidating emergency dispatch. Purchasing this equipment does that work with that, continue to work with that? Is this equipment that would have to be replaced if we did that? That I'm assuming you're purchasing in preparation, or not necessarily in preparation, that supports that.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons we need to replace the equipment is because of the limited programmability in our current radios. So whether we pursue that and get involved in a regional dispatch, we'll be able to program these radios to adapt to that. If we don't move forward with that, we will still be able to program the frequencies used by our partner agencies to communicate on automatic and mutual aid systems. So, answer your question quickly, yeah, we won't have to repurchase or change anything.
And this may be a question before you. It seems like we just purchased radios for the fire department not too long ago.
I think you're probably referring to the help me out, Brandon. The pagers.
Okay.
Radio pagers. They're not, they're just receivers, they're not
Okay.
two-way radios.
Okay, perfect, okay. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, thanks, Chief. Item 2 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute amendment number 1 with Kimberly Horn for the right-of-way and landscape services for the new section of sidewalk along Old Nashville Highway between St. Luke's and St. Matthews. Hey, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We have a current agreement with Kimberly Horn to design some sidewalk between St. Michael's and St. Luke's. This section was left out because it was extremely sloped condition back there, so this is a little segment that's been missing. Had quite a few calls over the last few years about wanting to have this segment tied in so people can continue to walk through there. So Kimberly Horn has started the work. There's some additional services for right-of-way. They have to get some delineation on some property, some boundary surveys in order to know exactly how much easement and right-of-way that we're going to have, I'm sorry, not right-of-way, but some additional easements we're going to have to acquire on properties.
We had conversations with all the homeowners up and down there.
I've talked to almost all of them. Went and knocked on their door a couple of years ago, and then I've had some calls from them as well since then, and they're all very much in favor of doing it. There were a lot of questions on what's going to happen to the fence, what's going to happen to the trees, and so part of what is in this agreement is to show like a conceptual landscape plan that we are going to replace their fence with a fence. It's going to be on their property, so they'll own it and they'll be responsible for it once it gets installed. And then just replacing some vegetation that is currently there that we're going to have to remove in order to put the retaining wall in place.
So are there sections of it where you'll have, let's say, the roadway, the sidewalk, a retaining wall, and fence on top of that wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I was visualizing.
Right.
Very good.
And I guess those tulip poplars, are they going to be able to be saved or taken out?
I'm not
Those
sure.
are not Bradford pears?
I mean,
They are
Bradford. Yeah, they're Bradford pears, not
Yeah.
tulip
I was gonna say,
poplars.
I didn't
I was wishing they were tulip poplars.
Yeah, I think the Bradford pears are most likely all going to be removed.
Okay.
We're not going to replace them with Bradford pears.
Right.
Did you
There
want
will
to put
be-
tulip poplars?
How about tulip
back up there?
poplars?
Maybe some tulip poplars.
Or crepe myrtles or something like that. We've got a list.
Anything but
for
Bradford
them to
pears.
We can
kind of
put some
pick from.
arborvitaes up there. Also, this contract was signed in December 2023, so have they been working on that, this contract since then?
They've been working on it kind of at the same time as Old Nashville Highway. We have, it was a CRISA grant to, I forget what it's changed to now, but it's to replace the sidewalk that's out of compliance. So they've been working with them in concert. I told them, go ahead and proceed forward with this project, so let's move it a lot quicker than what we've been doing.
And then I also noticed, are there any deliverable dates? You know, is there any progress dates, you know, where they give you 30% design, 60, 90? I did not see that in this contract.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's in the contract. Right now, they are.
And the only reason
playing-
I asked this, we signed contract in December 2023. So is there anything in place that keeps us from going to December 2027 with this?
Well, they're pretty well done with the construction plans. Like I said, they know about how much easements are going to be acquired, and we already have, I think it's O.R. Colin Associates are in place to be able to do the appraisal and negotiation to purchase the easements. This would be a contract to just get the surveyor to write those easements, or write the easements onto the exhibits to be able to submit to the county.
Yeah.
But no, I would say they're about at least 90% complete with the construction plans.
So once you get those surveys done from where you had to add this additional with the changes, are you going to contact the homeowners and meet with them individually or have a meeting with all of them to show them the new plan?
Yeah, O.R. Colin will be meeting with them as because I can't do it since I'm kind of considered the project manager, but O.R. Colin will be meeting with them to start negotiating,
Okay.
well, I'm sorry, to do the appraisal process, and then they'll hand it over to their negotiator, and those people will meet with them to talk to them about the amount of money to purchase those easements.
Okay. And this one doesn't require a third party? appraiser because
it
it's
does
not a
not.
TDOT project?
Correct.
Okay.
Is there any opportunity to ask for more funding for the 47,000
From TDOT?
through the grant process?
This is a portion that's outside of that contract,
Okay.
or outside of the TDOT project, because it's new sidewalk rather than replacing sidewalk.
Okay. So even though we got it through the CRISA grant?
This part is not involved in the CRISA
Okay.
grant, but the project around it is.
Okay. Okay. Other questions on this? I just want to make sure when we meet with the homeowners that they understand that once the fence is built, that it's their baby.
Yeah, and that's part of, like, it shows on there, the item of conceptual landscape exhibit. It shows the property line, and they'll know
What's
that
theirs,
it's
yeah.
theirs.
And there'll be language, I'm sure, in the document that's going to allude to that, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make sure.
And, well.
Just don't have it say it's your baby. Just
Yeah, we're getting
maybe more
angry.
legal terms.
Will there be some kind of release or acceptance from the property owner once the project's done? Just some kind of agreement, you know?
I don't know what's standard in projects like this. I mean, as far as like, because it's not really something they'd be willing to accept, but we can look into like an understanding
Well,
that they
sometimes
are
we need
the
to get their,
owner
you know,
of,
satisfaction and
Yeah.
acceptability on it.
Well,
But I think we also have to be careful of that, because what happens if they just say, no, we don't
Right.
like it, or we don't want it?
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'd have them involved in like the punch list, you know,
Yeah.
once work is completed and everything, and they'll be involved in the process. I'm sure I'll be communicating with them as far
Right.
as when construction's gonna start, you know, I'd make sure that they
Can any
know.
language be added at the time of the negotiation for the homeowners through the appraisal process?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
As far as the fencing goes?
Oh, the type of fence?
No, just the fact that they're going to end up owning that fence when all is said and done.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a part of the discussion that OR Colon is going to have with them, that when they present them the landscape exhibit, it'll show them, like, we're going to put a maximum number of trees on there, and then the fence is going to be on your property, you're going to own it, so
So
they
they'll
are.
know that through the.
Yes,
through
they'll
that.
know
So-
that ahead
And
of
I think
time.
that was kind of the question that somebody asked a minute ago, if there's some kind of release or documentation of it, so.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, item 2 is, nope, that was item 2. Item 3 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute amendment number 1 to the agreement of the Kimberly Horn relative to the Enon Springs Road sidewalk project for additional boundary survey and right-of-way design.
This is kind of similar to the other project. Now, this is a TAP grant project, so there was, I think, 16 or 17 tracks that were identified that we would need to obtain either additional right-of-way or easements on. So this $47,000 is to do the survey work, to write those exhibits up so they can record those easements.
Now, this one will require an outside appraiser.
Yes.
Okay. So then, when you get to that point, that's when you're going to come back for additional funding for that, correct? Or
Yes.
is this, okay.
Yeah, that's when
Because I
we'll
didn't
get-
think it was
we'll-
covered in here.
Yeah, because since this is a local programs project, so we're in design phase. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're in design phase right now, so this is going to give us the funding to get through design, and then once we get into right-of-way, that's when we'll hire somebody. And you're right, we'll have the appraisal, the review appraisal, and the negotiator in there.
Okay.
And I think the same thing on this. The original contract was signed November 2022. So how far are we with design on this?
Again, this is the NEPA got approved, I believe, 6 months ago, and we just recently got notice to proceed to design phase, and now the NEPA process, when I first started here 10 years ago, NEPA process was about 6 months. Now it's about 2 to 2.5 years.
And
so-
that's not just for us, that's
Yeah.
across the, I mean, we're hearing that from communities all over. Jerome, I'm sure you had to deal with that in Spring Hill and everywhere else. So it is frustrating because it lengthens the time of the project.
And again, there's there was no 30, 60, 90, dates in the contract.
Okay.
And it's just something I think we should look at and understand. We can't control NEPA and what the state and the federal level does with these grants, but we can kind of put some time constraints on
Okay.
on their design package.
Okay.
And I'm not looking to
Yeah.
be restrictive, I just, something that kind of gives us a definite time.
Can we legally do that since it's a TDOT project?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can legally do that or not, or at least it would just be a contract that they are. Well, it might be something where we require a NEPA submittal by a certain date, but then beyond that, it would be up to TDOT to review it, and then if they find something and require sometimes they require like a biologicals study done, and then that would be above the contract, so then there would be some kind of loopholes.
But then
to extend it
outside of the
longer.
NEPA, when they start the design
Design
phase, the
phase.
survey phase and all that, we could put not necessarily dates, but, 90 days, 120 days on those different,
The
Yeah.
deliverables.
We can look at that,
They can
yeah.
provide
Yeah.
deliverables.
If I may, I think that recommendation could be implemented. We need to obviously be careful of things outside of our control. Obviously include provisions for force majeure and those sorts of things, but as it relates to specific deliverables, by the architects or engineers within each phase, I think we could certainly put some parameters around that and ask for that as we negotiate these agreements.
things.
Yep.
Okay, item 4 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Barge Solutions for a corridor study of Industrial Boulevard from Sam Ridley to the west connection of Teams Boulevard.
So as development continues to grow along Industrial Boulevard, either in Laverne or in Smyrna, accidents are increasing throughout this corridor. We've noticed that in our Safe Streets for All action plan, where there's been, I think it was 36 accidents occurred in that corridor. We're looking at it from the perspective of what are some things we need to do, provide access management to commercial sites as well as maintain safety through there. So we went out to Barge Solutions. They've worked for us in the past. They do a good job. And just got a proposal from them to analyze that corridor and kind of do a little corridor study on Industrial from Sam Ridley to the Second Team Boulevard entrance.
Which is all the way down at Target.
Yes.
So who did the intersection, Industrial and Sam Ridley? What firm?
Industrial and Sam Ridley.
The whole Sam Ridley, the
Stonecrest, at Stonecrest.
Stonecrest, Industrial Boulevard, Sam Ridley revision of the intersection?
Well, that was done, Gresham Smith had done that several years ago.
Did they submit on this? And the only reason I'm asking, they have a lot of background, I'm
Yeah.
sure, on this intersection.
They do, and a lot of the people who were with them have gone on,
Okay.
moved on, but no, we discussed it internally and asked Barge to provide, we can't competitively bid consulting services, so, we go in and just request.
So y'all just asked them for
We
a
asked,
proposal?
Barge, yeah.
Okay. The
If I
other
could-
thing is.
If I could on that one, and if I'm not mistaken, Barge typically doesn't work with some of the consultants that we normally would use, is that correct?
Yes.
So they kind of have a fresh perspective on this, they don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak?
Yeah, that was one, yeah, like I said, that's one of the reasons why we did pick them, is they're not really doing a lot of commercial development that might sway any opinions on it.
So the contract amounts for $58,000. And my question, I guess, is to the council. What priority was this on the Safe Streets for All?
It was
And
10th.
one
I'm
more
sorry,
thing.
I'm sorry.
And then what it is, In-N-Out Burgers driving this? Is that what's moved this above all the others on the priority list?
for me, in asking for us to look at doing this, that's exactly what it was, because the property sold and.
So how are we going to weigh the priorities in the future?
I think that we have a list, but I think when things like a property being sold, I think sometimes that list might have to change. That's how I look at it in regards to priority. I don't know how the rest look at it, but
Well,
when,
from planning, when they came in, this was a topic of conversation.
Yeah, it
So
was,
I think
yeah.
it sort of got its attention right then and there because of the fact that it's being presented to us. And we had the same issues with traffic control and traffic safety there, in and out, whether it's in and out or whoever it is. It's just become a hard intersection that way. So that, from a planning perspective, I think that got our attention more so.
Well, I just say that, so I hope we don't lose their perspective of the priorities, because there's a lot of development going on Almaville Road.
Yeah.
And
but I don't think we've lost perspective, but I also think it can't be a set and concrete list that never changes. For instance, property's been purchased on Lee Road for a new school. Well,
So-
just because that's not on the priority list doesn't mean that it can't be moved up because something's come up that we didn't necessarily know
So-
when we initially did the list.
Well,
What's-
anytime we can move something on the priority list and then turn it over to the developer to enter into the project, then we should do that to save the town money.
So the developer's going to do the improvements.
Well,
We don't know
We don't know that yet, but we don't know what the improvements are. If
We
they
need to
come
get the
forward
study
and we
done.
have this plan, then yeah, we'll hold them accountable.
Okay.
No, I wasn't saying that they were going to pay for this
I thought that's
study.
what you said.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Okay. Well, not the study, but the improvements.
Sometimes
The,
they'll
Some of
have
them
to
they
improve their
might.
part of it for sure.
okay, then the second thing is, what's the process when we take something out of the priority list and move it to the top? How's that determined?
I think it's discussion, just like we had discussion about this being a priority in regards to, I mean, we just discussed this, last month, or when In-N-Out Burger
I would,
came and presented?
I'd say we're doing that right now, actually.
yeah, I would think we would do this anytime something changes in the effect, and it affects one of these items. If In-N-Out had not came forward to develop this corner, this would still be number 10 and we wouldn't be talking about it. So if, I don't know what number 9 is, but if whatever's going on at number 9, if a new development or a change comes in that could affect it, then I could see why we might pull that out and look at it.
Well, I
So-
just don't want us to lose sight of that study and the priorities that
But
I
we,
said.
we have people that kind of beat us up, and you actually commented on a Facebook post saying that we got to put infrastructure in before we do the development. Well, that's exactly what this is.
I was commenting on I guess Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
Refused a development because there wasn't adequate infrastructure in.
But isn't that
And I
exactly what
thought-
this is?
I thought, what a novel idea that is, yeah.
But Mayor Esther's comparison of the Lee Road project with the schools
Right.
is a great example of it. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we've been
Roundabout.
talking about that, and we recognize the
Right,
importance of it,
right.
but
And I agree, I
being
just-
moved up.
I know we did that study for a reason, and I know there's going to be changes, but I just hope that we stay focused on the priorities.
I don't
that
think
were
we're
set.
not staying focused, but I think when we're looking at the budget, year after year, we prioritize the list that we've come up with, but sometimes during the year, things are gonna come up, and some of those might have to change.
I think your point's well taken.
Yeah, hopefully we're not single threading anything, right? We're multiple projects in flight, so I would hope Jerome, top 1, 2, and 3 keeps moving no matter what happens below it, right? I wouldn't want something that's 10 to take the place of 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
But so I see that perspective, but I would hope we'd be able to pick up and do additional.
And Dave, why don't, if you see any of those projects that we were hoping to fund or that were put in the budget to be funded, if you see because we're having to do a Lee Road or something like this, that they might be knocked down, make sure to let us know that. So when we're having discussion about it, we can make a decision whether that's a higher priority.
Sure, and we would not look to make any changes to the prioritization list unless we went through that study activity again. first and foremost. Many of the projects that are on the higher priority list have been in some kind of study or design phase already and/or placed on the TDOT list for projects in the future for funding. This is just a study activity to identify what improvements could be made as we move forward. So this is not construction activity, this is just study activity. And to the point made earlier, we're not going to just work on one project at a time. This project in particular, looking at that area, understanding the congestion that we have there, we knew that we would have to do this at some point. We're not doing this because of In-N-Out, I want to make that clear. We're doing this because it's on the list. The catalyst to kind of move it forward is because of what we had come through both planning and to the council with In-N-Out. And frankly, when we got their traffic study, we did not agree with it in its entirety, and we thought it was important that we get a complete picture of that area before we accept the recommendations of any individual traffic study for any particular parcel in that area, because there's just too much intertwined play with everything that's going on. So understanding it from a very high level, we felt was important, and at the cost, and I'm not downplaying that it's significant dollars, but in the grand scheme of things, to have $58,000 worth of study activity for things that could be implemented by potential developers or redevelopers in that area, we thought was a prudent and fiscally responsible thing to do.
Yeah, and honestly, the study may show that what In-N-Out brought forward is absolutely right. We didn't agree with it. We can't imagine that it was accurate, that it was accurately reflecting the whole area, but we don't know because we don't have the study. So it kind of put us at planning, it kind of put us in a little bit of a bind. We had a guy from In-N-Out who was a little aggressive, saying, we've had multiple studies, multiple people look at this, and this is what they're saying. What does your study show? And we're like, we don't have one. So it kind of left us a little bit behind the eight ball.
Did we get the third-party consultant to look at their traffic study?
My understanding we did, and I believe Reagan Smith also is the one that did it, right?
So a lot of the information, not to speak for you, Tom, but it's my understanding that a lot of the information that will go into our study, our independent study activity, will come from the research done through the Safe Streets for All, as well as the traffic analysis that was done specifically for In-N-Out.
I guess the question was, we have a third-party consultant that reviews traffic impact studies. Did they review In-N-Out's traffic impact study?
Well, I don't know that they reviewed it, but a third party did it, right? In-N-Out didn't do it, we didn't do it, Reagan Smith did it.
Right. But who paid them? Did In-N-Out pay them to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the whole premise on the third-party reviews, is like, if they're saying this is adequate and we didn't feel like it was adequate, let's get our third party to review.
Sounds like you're saying engineers are on the take.
Do what?
It sounds like you're saying engineers are on the take. Whoever's paying them is
Have
what
we
they're gonna do.
implemented the
You
third
can't
party on
trust anybody
every?
these days,
We've used the third-party traffic consultant on the projects that are occurring out west. In fact, TDOT has gotten involved in that, because there's some development also occurring with the county that has kind of brought TDOT to the table to say, hey, y'all got to figure this out collectively. And so, to answer your question directly, yes, we did use the third-party traffic consultant on an analysis of those 4 independent traffic studies that were done by each development to look at it in its entirety. Had we gotten to the point of approval and the traffic study for In-N-Out needed to be looked at, because even with them coming forward with that traffic analysis now, after approval is when we start talking about what improvements need to be made, so on and so forth. We could have brought that individual in at that point to look at what they said to analyze that further.
Yeah, and in their case, they provided 3 different solutions or possible solutions, and we never got into the discussion of one solution versus the second or the third.
Didn't make it that
We never
far.
got that far because we denied it before we even really got into that discussion. Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to mention, you were talking about priorities earlier. I didn't want to interrupt when you were talking about that, but the ones that are above this one, we have gone out to a grant. We're applied for a grant for several of those above it. So we're kind of working these harmoniously. So we didn't just ignore the top 9. We are there are several of those that are above that we went out for a grant for that as well. So we're waiting to hear on that one. Dennis Mendelina did the.
How many NEPA studies are involved with that?
87.
So the list, though, the list is for the safe streets? Because isn't that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Is it on the list of safe streets?
Yes, the
Priority?
actual-
But that's not the same list as what's budgeted, or is the budget based on that list? I'm trying to get clarification. Because we started talking about what was in the budget and what we prioritized. But that's not the same set of
We're gonna-
information, correct?
We are going to use the prioritization list for budgetary purposes, but it's not necessarily going to be budgeted in the order of the projects, because each project is going to be in a different phase, whether that be design, seeking grants, for instance, let's take the number 1 on the list, which I believe was Emerald Road, correct?
Correct.
We've got that coming to fruition in different ways. One is going to be something through the choice lanes, we know, right, on the interchange. And then we suspect, as I alluded to just a little bit earlier, with TDOT being now involved with a lot of the development that's occurring out west, a lot of those developers will be on the hook for a lot of the improvements that need to occur out there. So we're getting it done in different ways. Obviously trying to look at grant funding and developer-paid infrastructure improvements first and foremost. And then where we need to fill in those gaps, certainly we'll look to the council for various approval and capital improvement plans as we move forward. But I hope that answers your question, but to summarize, you're not going to see us budgeting specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to look at where each project is in certain phases based off of where they are in TDOT plans and grant
But you're
funding and those
looking at
sorts
the
of
list
things.
as a part of that consideration, the
The-
safe streets
absolutely,
list. That's what I'm trying to
absolutely.
get understanding of.
Yes,
Yeah, and I guess, obviously, cost is a huge factor too, right? If item number 5 is 60,000 and item number 1's 20 million, we've only got 100,000 to spend, let's do item number 6.
Other questions?
Oh, actually, I did have a question. I got distracted by all of what we were discussing. This is the one that there were 2 on our list of tasks on the barge contract. There's a list that goes 1 through 5, and under the 5th item, there's additional expenses. And my understanding is they're related to the data collection, but was trying to understand why that 1,500 was not inclusive of number 2, the data collection of 8,000. It's actually taken out. Is that for some other specific collection of data? Did you figure that out?
That may be like expenses as far as driving to the site, things like that, lunch, whatever it might be for their personal expenses for them to come to the site. I will double check on what that is, but that's what I'm guessing it is.
Because it says it's for 2 intersections.
Yeah.
Expenses and
For
in
the
parentheses,
sub-consultant.
including sub-consultant for traffic data
Right.
collection for 2 intersections. But I was trying to see why that was taken out of the number 2 where it has data collection.
I'll find out and let you know.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Universal Linen for the Smyrna Event Center.
Now, let's do an easy one now.
Hey, Nate.
Good evening, Mayor.
How are you?
Council. So in front of you is a new contract for Universal Linen. We've been using them for the past 10 years. So we just want to continue doing business with them.
Questions for Nate on the linen bid?
Why don't we use, no, I'm just kidding. I was gonna say, why don't we use paper?
Okay, No questions. Thanks, Nate.
All right, thank you.
Item 6 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development's Tourism Enhancement Grant for the fiscal year '25 in the amount of $41,000. How are you?
Hi, good evening, council. Yeah, so this is just, town's been awarded a grant for Tennessee Department of Tourism Development for Tourism Enhancement Grant in the amount of $41,000. This does require a 50% match, so they will provide around $20,500. And this is to help the interior painting of the event center, some wood chips. It include the lobby, all the ballrooms, the dining halls. This will also provide for new AV equipment, including ceiling speakers and equipment to help amplify the sound throughout the event center. And yes, this contract is just to enter that grant.
Just want to mention that both of these items were budgeted for this year. We just seek the grant to offset some of those costs.
Not challenging at all, I'm good with it, but didn't we just upgrade the AV equipment at the event center like in the last couple of years?
Now, I tell you, no, every time we're in the Rotary,
I didn't say it
we
was
have
working, I
issues.
said, but I'm pretty sure before you, I thought Brian just did this, but maybe I'm wrong.
Howard?
No?
Okay, I was gonna say, I
Okay.
thought we changed some things in there too related to the AV equipment.
Todd's saying no, so, okay.
I don't disagree, Jerome. It's bad.
We have to have a satchel full of batteries every time we have a meeting.
They only last 10 minutes.
Right. It's, the outside canopy, y'all described some work on the inside painting. Does this include any work on the outside canopy? It needs a little bit of attention.
So the way the application was sent forward was just for the interior, so I think.
Okay.
So I think anything that
Sure.
would be on the exterior
Okay.
wouldn't be included, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can find another grant for it.
Yep. I mean, everybody keeps up the buildings great, Pete and his crew and everybody, but I was looking around the other day at the Rotary and looks like it could use some fresh paint or, underneath the canopy.
Pressure washing.
Yeah, yeah.
You did a punch list?
Huh?
Did you do a punch list?
Yeah, I did.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. Okay, item 7 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Three Boys Consulting LLC relative to the wastewater treatment plant metal storage building at the Sludge Hall site.
Hello. So finally glad to get this in front of you guys. This has been bid 3 times. We had to do a little bit of redesign. This is for the low bidder for Three Boys Consulting. This is at the Holbrook Farm where we do take sludge during the summertime instead of having to take it to the landfill or southeastern compost. We have equipment out there, which is a spreader truck and a backhoe. Sometimes there's an additional piece of equipment, and also in this building will be a tool shed, tool room also for them to keep their tools in, get the equipment out of the weather.
Questions for Mike on this?
Is this a total enclosure, Mike?
The front's
Or-
open.
Okay.
Is anything else, is it just us using this property out there, or is somebody else using it as well?
Holbrook's still an active farm. I think there's 350 acres there. We own 100, kind of right in the middle.
And so how does that, it's just ours? It won't be them putting their stuff in there, any of that?
No,
Only us?
it's just for us,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Other questions on the sludge farm? Okay, item 8 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a 1-year contract extension relative to the banking services for First Horizon Bank. Hey, Sierra.
Good evening. So in 2021, the town executed a full RFP for banking services. We had a lot of letters of intent, but only 3 proposals from First Horizon, Pinnacle, and Synovus. First Horizon won the bid. They've won it in previous years. That contract was for 4 years with 2 options for a 1-year extension. So that's what you have in front of you. They've been great to work with. We would like to continue. At the end of the contract, we will go out for another bid.
I have a question. I know we have a considerable amount of money in there, and the figures were kind of overwhelming. I didn't quite understand the terms, 1.5 lower.
So,
Translate that to an interest rate for me.
Okay, so
I know
I-
it moves with the market.
I followed up with First Horizon today.
Yep.
So in 2021, the contract was 50, our interest rate would be 50% of the Fed funds lower. So it's whatever the Fed fund rate was for
Right.
the day. Our interest rate was 50% of that. The new contract extension would increase it to whatever the Fed fund lower rate minus 1.15%. So in terms of what it would look like today, our interest rate is 2.13%, and the contract extension would change it to be 3.10%.
Okay. And are we locked in for a certain term, or is it just a floating, it just follows as the feds?
Yes,
Okay.
it follows with the Fed.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially for us to have the same deal, the rate would have to be 2 point something for us to be at 50%. So
Yeah.
this is definitely a win or a benefit for us.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of CDs,
Yeah.
which is considerably higher. Yeah.
Other questions?
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
Okay, item 9 is approval of a list of surplus items to be sold through online auction with GovDeals.
The town seeks permission to conduct an online auction to sell surplus items. It will be advertised on Channel 3, on the website, and the Murfreesboro Post. All items will be sold through GovDeals. Items mostly consist of traffic lights, cubicles, desks, and a van.
Any questions for Sierra on the auction? Christmas is getting close. Anything y'all
Any
see
Gucci
on there?
belts?
I don't
We've
think
had those
so.
before.
Yeah. Here Esther keeps her eye out for those.
What about golf carts?
There was a blue one I just sold.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, we'll move on to item 10, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of Murfreesboro, the city of Laverne, and Rutherford County to jointly fund a study exploring the benefits of consolidating emergency dispatch services into a unified communications center. We had a little bit of discussion about this prior to this, talking about Murfreesboro and the town of Smyrna. Since then, Laverne has asked to be included, and it's also going to be sent to Rutherford County. But Chief, we'll turn it over to you.
Jeff, did you want to follow up
Oh,
on anything
sorry,
before?
Jeff.
Well, obviously, what you have before you is a memorandum of understanding that I'm sure Chief and Chief Bowen will get into a little bit of the why. The what of the memorandum just provides for a four-way funding agreement between the municipalities, if council so chooses to approve it, to allow for Murfreesboro to contract with a company that will do a study to check for the operational efficiency as well as financial efficiency of unified dispatch. But the maximum amount that the town would have to provide is $35,000, which is the same as every other municipality at this time. And I did confirm with City of Murfreesboro City Attorney's Office that was still correct, is 35.
Just, if I may, I received a couple of questions, so I want to address them. And so the city of Murfreesboro based their cost estimate based off preliminary conversations they had with a potential vendor. They will go out to bid for this, and so until that time, we won't know anything in terms of how long the study will take or anything regarding that.
Chief, do you want to give a little history as to why that, why you all have asked for this?
Yeah, so my experience, I came from a system that used a unified command 911 dispatch consolidated system. I worked under both systems at Hamilton County, Chattanooga for years. I saw many challenges that came with that, From my experience, when it switched over to a unified command, I saw a lot of great benefits with that. I think it's imperative for our community, along with Rutherford County, to at least explore the options and the feasibility of going to a unified system and see if it's something that's advantageous for not only our community, but for Rutherford County in general. And Chief Bowen was gracious enough to come here tonight and join with me. I went to his workshop because I think it's good to support each other in these endeavors and make sure we're doing the right thing for our citizens. So.
Can you give us a practical example of what this fixes or how this makes it better?
The one example, and I discussed this with Chief Bowen several times when we've talked about this as we worked on this. During the protest and stuff of several years back, I saw it firsthand being under a unified command. So the EOC, the Emergency Operating Center for Hamilton County, was housed at the Chattanooga Police Department. And during that time, we were all in the same room monitoring what was happening. Any kind of threats, anything that was happening during some of the protests that we had. We had a gentleman get on top of a roof with a rifle during a protest. At that point, we had drones in the air. We were all in the same room, Hamilton County, Chattanooga, all the other municipalities, Highway Patrol that was helping with that scenario and that protest. We were able to watch this individual get on the roof, send people in there, officers in there to address that threat and take care of that threat before it turned into something else. We were all in the same room together. There was no separations of our commands. So we could literally look across the room at each other and talk to each other and communicate with each other and watch it all on the same screen. Whereas now, that wouldn't be possible right now. We would all be segmented in different places, picking up phones, communicating over radios, and all being separated instead of being in the same building, housed together, working together.
This allows the officers on the street to communicate to each other as well?
Yes.
So if we had, day-to-day, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Laverne all still have their own independent police departments and run their own calls. But if we had an emergency situation or mutual aid or anything like that where we needed to work together, now we can talk to each other without having to make phone calls or relay information.
It streamlines the communication a lot better. And I know there's been a lot of, and I can't speak to it in depth, but I know there's been a lot of issues with ambulances going to the wrong locations, medical calls, where you have a unified command, everyone's in the same room, in the same building, housed together. I think you would eliminate a lot of those issues, in my opinion, from my experience.
So currently, when somebody from the town of Smyrna has a medical emergency and they call 911, can you walk me through what happens? It comes into Smyrna.
Right.
Smyrna then has to transfer it to
Yes.
Rutherford County to EMS.
Yes.
Whereas if it was a unified dispatch, there's only one call and nothing has to be transferred.
It's routing in one place, yes, it's routing in one place.
Okay.
It's usually probably the simplest way to put it.
Okay. But again, this is not doing a unified dispatch. This is only doing a study to look at, is that something that we need to consider as an entire county or individual?
Correct, and we have no idea what that study will say. It's different for every location, so.
And I guess with Laverne, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Rutherford County, except for Eagleville, everyone in the county is involved at this point, right? Is there any other municipalities, any other
No, but
government entities?
Eagleville's dispatched through the county.
Okay.
All that's done through the county,
So
so they're
Eagleville Police
picked up on
Department.
that.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Any other questions? I do want to say thank you to Chief Bowen for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. Chief does a great job in Murfreesboro and is always willing to provide mutual aid to us, and we can't tell you how much that we appreciate it. So.
I told him he may want to get out of here while he's got a chance.
So anything else?
Anybody from Laverne to come, Jason?
No, no one,
I don't.
I don't know what the status of that part is.
So it's not been presented to their council yet?
Correct. It's going, I think, I talked to Jason today, or
It's in
Mayor
October.
Cole, and I think theirs is 1st of October.
Mayor, there is something that I did want, or Jason was planning on discussing during the comment section of today's meeting, but because we have Chief Bowen here, if we could maybe just ask him to talk a little bit about a great collaborative effort that they had on a recent
Sure.
case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, you want Chief Bone or you want me to?
If he wants to stand up and be recognized,
Chief,
he
we
may.
want you on
It's
TV.
completely
Come
up
on
to
down.
him.
Come on.
Well, yeah, Chief Irvin got on to me for not getting in front of the TV camera the other day, so I guess this is payback.
That's right.
Yeah, but I tell you, Rutherford County, definitely a growing community, and, going back to the consolidated dispatch, the one things I look at, I've been with Murfreesboro for almost 38 years now, and I don't think that we've ever done a consolidated study to just say, hey, let's look at how we dispatch emergency response units to scenes. We haven't done that, and I just going back to that subject, I just felt that it was incumbent, at least share with the next generation some findings saying, hey, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, can we learn some efficiencies, things like that through that study. So I appreciate any consideration you'd give to that particular MOU. Going back to the what you were going to speak about, I think many of you may have seen the news story on the arrest that was made regarding the fentanyl.
In case our audience didn't, can you give us a little history?
Yeah, so basically about a 2-year investigation involving multiple jurisdictions regarding fentanyl production and distribution. It was actually based off of a initial investigation into a overdose death. So technically what we do is when we have overdose deaths, we try to find the sources, we try to see if we can prosecute those that are supplying the drugs to our community. So essentially that led to just different leads and turned into about a 2-year investigation with thousands of man hours, personnel hours spent looking into just different operations in different jurisdictions. The result, multiple arrests and pretty serious charges. And the spirit of cooperation, it was great. It was good. Metro, Smyrna, Laverne, TBI, THP, just a multitude of agencies participated in that investigation. And, at one point, our belief is that we stopped a potential homicide that was going to occur in Metro by getting them the information and letting them intercede. So highly successful investigation and just kind of indicative of the spirit in Middle Tennessee that I see with law enforcement and working together and having that cooperative environment to be able to conduct these investigations and everybody working for the common cause. I don't think you can stand up here and really talk about the devastation of fentanyl in our communities. I mean, words can't describe it, but it's out there, it's real, and it's an issue. And I know that we remain committed to working with our local, our state, and our federal partners in solving these issues. So.
Well, we appreciate the job both of you do. We know it's a high-stress job, and you both have great departments, and we appreciate that. We also appreciate you looking at the future, not just what's going on today in the department, but making sure that we leave it better off for those that come after us. And I think this study hopefully might do that, no matter what comes out of the study. So we appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you.
Chief, you are more than welcome to stay if you'd like to stay,
hang out a minute.
but you're going to hang out a minute. Well,
No pressure.
Oh, there you
I
go.
warned you.
Perfect.
I warned you.
Item 11 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with NashCom to encrypt all police department radios in the communication division. Chief?
Yes, Mayor, this is, we've been working on this. Captain James Scott has put in a lot of time trying to sort this out and make sure it's something we can do as quickly and as cheaply as possible. It's something we've wanted to do. Initially, the cost for making this happen was be almost $700,000, but with the work that Captain Scott put in, working with NashCom, which is a good partner of ours, they're able to retrofit the consoles in dispatch for a lot cheaper, and then also program and reformat our radios for a price of $20,142. And I think, I can't remember the timeline, but if we can get this approved and something the council approves, I think within hopefully the next 3 months or so we can get this done.
I think it is imperative that we do this. I mean, I am all for transparency, but when it comes to safety of our officers, I think that is something that we have to definitely take seriously. I will tell you, during the gentleman that barricaded himself in the liquor store, I was getting more information off Facebook from individuals that were listening to scanners before we could get updates ourselves, and that's kind of a scary thought. So I appreciate the work that James has done on this. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, then we'll move on to item 12, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the proposal for the update to the comprehensive plan. Kevin, how are you?
Doing well, Mayor. Yes, we did put in this year's budget for an update to the comprehensive plan. The last was adopted in December of 2021. We talked about this several months ago. We said we want to finish up the mobility plan first, and so we did put it in this year's budget. We did put out an RFP in August. We did open those proposals on Tuesday, the 23rd. We received 7 proposals. I feel really good about the list of proposals. The proposal we received, some locally based firms as well as some national firms. I think we got a lot of several good proposals and several good options, I think, for us to look at with regards to who we decide to hire. Certainly not ready to make that recommendation. I did want to put this on your workshop agenda with the hope that we could have a recommendation ahead of your October council meeting, and so we could go ahead and get started. If for some reason we're not able to do that, we would pull that back and come back in November. It is something I don't want to rush it and this is an important document. I don't want to go too fast and not get the right firm. But I also did want to go ahead, if we are able to, I want to be able to go ahead and get started before we get into the holidays and everybody's off from work and those kind of things for these consulting firms. So anyway, so that's what this is for. Again, we don't have a recommendation certainly tonight, but we'd hope to have one in October or potentially November. So.
Question for Kevin on this?
Who did the last one, Kevin?
Volkert was the company name that led that. Reagan Smith was also involved as a sub-consultant, but was primarily led by Volkert.
Did they apply this time?
They did not.
Will the Parks Master Plan just be added since we're working on that?
Yeah, this would not include parks. This would also, obviously, we just updated the mobility plan. This would just be taking those and
adding them to
adding to that. They'll be, obviously, want to be consistent,
Right.
but would not be involved as part of the planning
Okay.
process this time.
Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Kevin, and maybe Dave can answer this, how does this integrate with the infill plan that you and Todd and are working on?
That will certainly be, it'll all be integrated, fully integrated.
So this will recognize that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the only reason I ask that, we've got a lot coming down the pipeline as far as annexation on the west side of 840. And I think, I was hoping we could get that infill plan to look at it prior to that.
I think you said December.
Yes, we plan to have the plan of services methodologies for everything that's included in the plan of services completed by then. The look at the comprehensive plan will allow us to use that information to help make some determinations of within our urban growth boundary, what makes sense, what doesn't. At the next council meeting, next workshop, you'll see an item before you for looking at our sanitary sewer collection system. We don't want to distribute that, sorry. And we will, that's going to be another kind of phase. So the project that we're really working on is trying to look at all of that stuff.
Okay. But in the presentation we just got for our special called meeting, it does address some of the capacity.
Sure.
If you've not had a chance to look at that yet, the presentation, it
Yep.
does address that. It does address capacity for there.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, for mentioning that, because when we do bring that item before you, that's kind of a sneak peek of some of the study activity that Utilities has been working on. But we do have the information related to the water plant and the wastewater plant itself. It's the collection and system on sewer that we're really kind of missing, and we need to model that.
Okay, we'll move on to item 13, which is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 4, Section 4.075, and Article 5, Section 5.051.1, 5.051.2, 5.051.3, 5.051.4, 5.051.5, and 5.051.6 regarding the required minimum building setbacks for detached accessory structures, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, nothing has changed on this since you looked at it on first reading. This is, it's multiple sections of the zoning ordinance, but it's all the same amendment. Currently, we do require an 8-foot side and rear setback for detached accessory buildings in residential zones. This would change that to 5 feet. This is consistent with what the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County do, so are two of our closest neighbors, and so there's some consistency there. Again, that's really all that would be changing, and so Planning Commission did review this, did recommend approval. Again, nothing's changed since you looked at it on first reading.
Any additional questions for Kevin on this? Okay, moving on to 14, a consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 5, Section 5.052.4, relative to the addition of the use tourist home to the uses allowed by right in the C4 Neighborhood Service Business District, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is another text amendment to the zoning ordinance. Again, nothing has changed on this since you looked at it on first reading. This would just simply add this use to that use allowed in the C4 district. This use is already allowed in C1, 2, 3, and 5, and the A1 districts under the wider banner of transient habitation. This would just add this very specific form of that within the C4 district. Planning Commission did review this, did recommend approval.
Question for Kevin on this one.
Real quick, Kevin, what's the A1 district?
That's the airport property.
Airport, yes.
Yeah. It used to be zoned, many years ago, it was just in the heavy industrial district.
Right.
And that was a district we basically created just for the airport to allow for some more office and commercial type uses.
Other questions? Okay, item 15 is consideration and approval of the new and revised Smyrna Police Department policies, unmanned aircraft systems, drones, policy number 2-59, appearance, uniform, and equipment, policy number 3-7, and procedures for handling the mentally ill, policy number 2-32. Chief?
Mayor and Council, I presented this earlier, though Peach had to change a couple of things as far as some of the wording. But overall, the unmanned aircraft systems is we needed a full detailed policy that we didn't have in place until presenting this one. As far as the appearance and uniform, that was addressing the carrying of utility knives on duty, how they do be carried and what their use is while on duty. And then the final policy for review is procedures for handling the mentally ill. And that revision came about, we're talking about to the Rutherford County Ambulance Service. The issue arose where initially or previously in the past, they would transport anyone that was having a mental health crisis situation. Due to their policy changes, we needed to adapt our policy to if someone's in crisis like that, we will do the transport for them to receive treatment unless it is a medical emergency, and then the ambulance service would take over the transport at that point. So,
Questions for Jason on this?
So will you be doing some additional training for being able to deal with mental health individuals that you're having to transport now?
a lot of that is mandatory. We have to do that during our
Okay.
in-service training every year. And a lot of our officers have went through the crisis intervention training to deal with people going through mental health crisis. But it's something that it's mandatory every year through the state to take.
I've got a question, Chief, on the drones. Following, FAA guidelines, and I know we've got an airport locally, and there's perimeter around the airport. How does that work if we have an emergency in that area? How do we get like immediate clearance to use them? And I'm not asking for an answer right now, but maybe you could research that. Of course, our attorney, Mr. Peach, should be well versed in that.
I think there's some ways around that. There's certain things you have to get through the FAA to be able to respond or do in something in a situation like that. I'm not super well versed on that, but it's something we're needing to work through to make sure, in a situation like that, we can do what we need to do.
You can talk about the license, right?
It's highly automated now, but just even through an app that you can get your clearance, need be, they'll tell you the height that you're allowed to go to.
Okay.
If, extreme emergency and they need an answer right then, they can also call the tower just to say this is where we're going to be, and they'll give them then their height, height limitations. But
I've used that. I've actually done that myself to use the drone at Volunteer Park, which is on the base. When we've had some softball tournaments, we want to do some videos and stuff, we were able to go through the process and get permission to fly certain times, certain heights, etc. I think, Jeff, you've used it for Coos Memorial Run or something like that maybe before. Maybe the fire chief did. But,
fire chief.
He uses it for the oat surveillance.
Yeah.
That's right.
He actually videoed the opening of Enon Springs Road for us.
Neighborhood watch.
I think he just got shot down.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Chief? Okay, item 16 is consideration of an ordinance amending Smyrna Municipal Code Title 15, Chapter 6, Section 622, relative to the modified public transportation vehicles. Jeff?
Yes, Mayor and Council, if you choose to adopt this code, this is we had an issue arise, and we realized that there wasn't anything in our code to kind of address where you have old public transportation vehicles that are not being used for that anymore, to be parked in driveways and things like that that may be unsightly. And so, obviously, we didn't want to restrict those with RVs that are made for such, because many people have poured pads for those and sorts of things. So we had to kind of narrow it down, and as you'll see on here, we define what a modified public transportation vehicle is. We do give them the opportunity to load and unload, and it should not exceed 48 hours and 30 days. And basically, it would just have to be parked either from the front side of the building to the rear for the most part. And you still would have to meet those other requirements as far as if you have a self-propelled vehicle as being on gravel or the certain kind of surface. And so all of those would still come into play, but this addresses those mainly like a school bus, or even you could have the any of the buses that are over 15 passenger vehicles. But we just felt like there was an area that was not adequate to deal with that, and so we felt like it was a good time to suggest some additions to the council on that.
Yeah, this was something that I brought up due to an issue in our neighborhood. I guess this would also apply to the fire truck I was thinking about purchasing, but the question I have is Section B, and I think I mentioned this to you, Jeff. I'm just curious. So basically, there's three kind of factors, and I guess the question I've got is Section B. It says and has been substantially altered. What if? And I see you tried to kind of define substantially altered, but in this case, it still looked like a school bus, still had Hamilton County Schools on the side of it, except for the fact it didn't have commercial tags. You wouldn't know it wasn't an active school bus. So does that create a situation that we might be in where we still wouldn't be able to apply it?
Well, of course, look, as in C, we have no longer actively used in association with the government entity or school
Yeah, just
district.
because they all said "and," it made it sound like
Right.
you had to meet all of these criteria, not just one of them.
Sure, and so if it's exactly the same as a school bus, then we may have an issue with it being a public vehicle, which then brings in other provisions of the municipal code. I think, obviously the one you're speaking of didn't have a tag, and I think it's been removed now, but,
Yeah, yeah.
but, so it still would have to be operable, those types of things. But we had to narrowly construe this as best that we could so that we did not carve out existing RVs and those types of things that we have in the town that would actually, kind of retro prohibit folks that have invested substantial amount of
I
money.
guess my question is, what do we need B? My thought was, why do we even need B, right? Does A says it's a bus basically with 15 passengers or more, and C says it's no longer used as a government entity. Is that enough? Why do we need to worry about whether or not it's been altered?
Well, I mean, I guess we don't, if you don't want to.
I'm just thinking that way we just catch, because an RV wouldn't meet either one of those criteria, right?
Right.
So that was my thought. That way we can't get in a technicality where I haven't altered it yet. I'm going to, but I haven't done it yet.
Somebody pull a lot of seats out of the bus, make it work.
That's what they were doing. They were converting it to an RV, and that was the conversation, right? Was that it's no longer commercial because it doesn't have commercial tags. It's not being used as a school bus, but they hadn't actually done anything to it yet. It still looked like a school bus and was parked in the front yard, basically. And we didn't have any way to cover it. Ultimately, junk vehicle was the only thing, and that's just because it didn't run.
And I'll go back and I'll review that B. I will plan on not including it, but I'll see if I
Yeah, it's fine.
find any
Just-
other reason that maybe we
Yeah.
need it. And
I just don't want to get us in
Well,
a
two
pickle
readings
where we
anyway.
have the same problem, right? Where our own ordinances kind of prohibit us from being able to
Have a loophole.
address the issue, right?
Other questions or comments? Okay. Then we will move on to other. Anything tonight under other, Dave?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nate, anything? Dennis? Cameron? Chief? Charles?
You do not know
Hey,
the amount.
real quick, Charles. Hey, Casey, what was the bet exactly? Because I think we just missed the over-under. No. We had an over-under on 6:30, and I think Charles just pushed us over, so.
Oh, okay.
Charles, we are so glad to see you tonight. What
Thank you
great
very
news
much,
do you
Mayor
have
and
for us?
Council. I appreciate this opportunity. Did just want to give a quick, brief update on the Washington Street project. Tom Rose, Mike Moss, and myself attended the local businessmen's meeting Friday morning to give them an update on the project, and just wanted to do the same here for council. The water line project on Front Street has been completed now. So that allows us to restart the Washington Street project. CSX has scheduled a flagger for the week of October 6th, so the contractor can mill, pave, and do the pavement markings on the project, and this is also the week of Rutherford County Schools fall break. CSX crossing will be closed during construction, will close at 9, but at the end of the workday, we will pull the barricades out and open all the roads back up. The part of the project that will resurface from Washington Street will be Lowry to around the roundabout, and also on Front Street, we will go from Division Street to the pawn shop parking lot. So that will be the only area that this project will be resurfacing. The schedule right now is on September the 29th or 30th. We'll place the 2 changeable message sign units on Front Street. On Monday, October the 6th, we'll mill, Tuesday pave, Wednesday pavement markings, and then October 9th and 10th, Thursday, Friday, we'll be doing the crosswalk, pavement stamping, and coloring. The sealer for the pavers will be done after all this construction work is done, so it will be clean, and that will pretty much wrap the project up.
Great.
Or no, when will you go from Wright Street on down to Hazelwood?
Now, that will be part of Tom's Front Street project. That will go from there on down to College.
I think the question was when.
Yeah, appreciate you throwing it, but when?
Tom's looking at his belly button.
I think I can answer that. We don't have funding for that project right now, but right now we're working with Dennis and Todd to try to secure a grant for that. That would also do some enhancements in the area. We're looking at things like enhanced lighting, raised crosswalks that would be decorative in nature. We've
But
been
surely
looking
you
at.
gotta surface it, cause it's torn all up.
I'm sorry, can you
You
say?
gotta resurface the road surely though, right?
Within the area, yes.
But I'm talking about from Wright to Hazelwood.
From Wright to Hazelwood?
Yeah, so from the pawn shop down to Hazelwood, because it's pretty tore up.
That'll come later with the traffic calming project, but
You need a temporary project in there.
I will turn it over to Mr. Rose at this time.
Stay right there waiting.
That was brief though, Charles, thank you, that was pretty brief.
We had planned to do that project last year and just struggled with getting some good bids on it. So we have $200,000 in the budget for this fiscal year, thinking we'd just be wrapping it up. But we do have some money in there to do the work. We had Todd and Dennis working on getting an economic development grant to do the work. And we're gonna see if we do get that grant. If not, we're gonna use money we do have to go in there and do the milling resurfacing. We'd have to do some stormwater repair work first, and then we would do the milling and resurfacing.
So
That'll be
where is
completed
the,
this year though, correct?
This calendar year, yes, yeah. Well, I mean, it depends, and I'm not sure exactly, I don't know if Todd wants to come up here and speak, but I'm not sure when we're gonna find out about the economic development grant, but we'll make a decision pretty quick on if we're going to wait and find out if we are going to be able to obtain that grant, or we're just gonna move forward with town funds.
You just
for
said
it.
calendar year, I think you meant fiscal year, right?
Fiscal year, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause I
I'm
was
just
gonna say
saying-
calendar
Sorry.
year.
Yeah.
I like calendar year.
I meant fiscal year, thank you, yes.
so where's the repaving gonna stop at
At the
currently?
pawn shop.
Pawn shop.
It would go from about Wright Street to College.
From Joe B's, old Joe B's.
To College, so it will be paved all the way down to College?
Yes, yes.
In this project?
In the Front Street traffic calming project.
In Charles.
Okay, okay.
No,
I-
not in
I
Charles
don't know if I
project.
misunderstood.
No, you're still, I think you're misunderstanding now. Charles's project's stopping at the pawn shop.
Right.
The traffic calming project will pick it up from there and take it down to College.
Yes.
That's
So
what he's
from
saying.
the
It's two
pawn
different
shop
projects.
down is not gonna be repaved?
That is not
It
scheduled right
will be repaved with the traffic calming project, but
I agree. There's no way that we can leave
It's-
that like that.
All
There's no
winter
way.
long? No way.
No.
No way.
No, and that's not the plan, and I'm not sure when, I keep pointing at him, when the economic development grant is going to, we're gonna find out about it. If we don't wanna do that,
I think we need to pay them.
I do too.
yeah.
And
Time
I
out.
appreciate grants, but I think we're kind of behind the
Throw a
eight
red
ball on this.
flag.
I'm telling, I don't think the citizens will stand for that with the way that the road is down there from, and I'm talking about from
Pretty much Front
the,
Street.
College down.
well, so people have from the market, all the way from the market, all the way up.
Right, I don't disagree.
I think we've got to find.
Essentially where you tore it up with the water.
Yes.
Mike's project, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's why we weren't fixing it, was because we were doing multiple work together and then gonna fix it all at one time. But if we did all of the water area, we need to repave all of the stuff we tore up.
And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I thought the traffic calming and all of that was included in that.
I
It's
thought we'd put that in the budget
I did
already.
too.
I didn't think we were waiting on the grant.
I
But
didn't
to
either.
bring up what HG said, I think last meeting, you were asking about from the furniture store on towards Old Nashville Highway as well, all the way to the
Well,
health
to-
department or something where we put in new
To the bridge
curbs.
down there.
Yeah, you were asking about that as well.
I mean,
So
I
I
don't think
agree.
that's it, I don't think that's as, I mean, I don't
Right,
agree, but
right,
it's not
right,
near as
no,
bad as
no.
from Joe B, or it's not Joe B's anymore, but from
Right.
Joe B's all the way down to,
Thornhill?
yeah,
Thornhill.
from there.
Yeah.
King's Corner. or
Dave, I think that needs to be a priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you need a
October
motion,
6th, is it
I'll
too
do
early?
that now.
That's not-
I'm sorry.
October 6th, is it too early?
Especially if they're gonna be out there doing work anyway. I mean, it just makes sense to try to put it all together at the same time, to me.
How did we miss this?
I don't know how,
I don't know.
I don't know how we missed this.
Obviously, I can't provide a definitive at this meeting, but let me work with staff to see how we can continue on with that project in unison with what we're doing.
Yeah, I think we need to fix everything we tore up. I mean, we dug it up and put in water line, put in sewer, we need to fix it now.
Get with Sierra, she's got a great rate at the bank these days.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised. I'm kind of caught off guard about it, so. Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you. All right, anytime.
Good job, Charles.
Charles, I know it said that 6 o'clock was gonna be the time for barrels and stuff to kind of come down, end of workday.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
with us having the event down there tomorrow, which I think starts at 6, is that what time it starts? Yeah, if it starts at 6, is there any way tomorrow that we can try to have those down a little before that, so, for the car
Well, just like I said,
showing
I
off?
won't be starting until October 6th, so that will get through this weekend's
Okay,
event, so.
okay, I just wanted
yeah,
to make
we'll
sure there
be-
was nothing
yeah.
that was gonna be blocked
Right,
off
that's
for that.
why even the portable message signs, they won't go up
Okay.
till Monday or Tuesday
Okay.
to make sure they're out of the way and not
Perfect.
overlapping with the
Okay.
event this weekend.
fault.
And it's just
Okay,
one
perfect.
day? Did I understand that right? Just one day you're gonna block it?
No, well, like I said,
More than
we'll,
one?
we'll block it on Monday to mill, which take about half a day or so. Paving will be on Tuesday, which will take from 9 till 3 or 4, then we can pull back out. And then on Wednesday, we'll do the pavement markings, which will take most of the day off and on with different lane
few days.
closures. And then, like I said, Thursday, Friday, we'll be doing the stamping, coloring of the concrete crosswalk up by the track.
And will they leave the barricades up that whole week, or will they take
No,
them
no,
down
we'll
at
pull
6
down
o'clock
each day, at the
Okay.
end of work, each day, we will pull out.
All right, thank you.
Tom, will we seal the roundabout pavers after that?
Right, after all that work's done, because they said they'd rather wait, and that way paving operation or milling operation doesn't get them dirty. This way, after everything is done, they'll pressure wash them, then come in and do the sealer. And that will not take any lane closures.
And I guess short of extreme weather, how does weather affect this?
Weather can always affect it, so we'll try to do the best we can on that. The milling, it won't have much impact on, but paving, pavement markings, you have to have a dry surface, so that could cause some delay.
Okay. I just want to make sure and throw that out there. This time of year,
Correct.
it's subject to be raining, so.
Right, so like I said, that's why we'll start at 9 and we'll go, like I said, we have that operation going, we'll have to go till we complete it.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Charles.
All right, thank you.
Pierre, anything tonight? Okay. Jeff? Kevin? Mike? Christie? Sierra? Casey? No, ma'am. Charles? Mike? I'm sorry. Tom? Sorry. Sorry. Tom? Mike?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make it quick. Staff was bringing up planning for next year's Independence Day celebration and picking a date. The 4th is on a Saturday. Most likely Friday will be a holiday here, so we were looking to get input from the town council. Dave and I talked about this and wanted to bring it to you guys. I know we're bidding out fireworks again this year, so we're trying to get ahead of that. And looking at what date we want to have the celebration on, and also keeping in mind of a rain date. So Thursday, July 2nd, and July 3rd seem to be the ones that we probably want to look at. We'd like to do our celebrations later in the week as we prepare the park, be more prepared for it. Also looking at trying to give our staff a 3-day weekend as well. So we wanted to bring that up. Most likely a celebration on the 2nd or the 3rd, and then figuring out a rain date from after we get y'all's input.
So you want it on Thursday?
I think we're open to input from you guys.
Well, I mean, what are you asking for? Thursday?
I think that would be the best and give us a rain date of the very next day.
Friday, it costs us a whole lot of money, right?
It does. Another way to look at that is, the 3-day weekend for staff, which I know they need that after a day like that. But also, if you have it on a work day, you've got a lot of resources. So if you need to go pick something up at the stores, that type of thing, it works out well. But we're really open to input. I think that was Dave and I were thinking as we wanted to
Because the
bring it
federal
before you
holiday is
guys.
going to be observed on Friday, correct?
The federal holiday will be observed on the Friday. I've heard, I cannot confirm, that I think Nashville's doing a 2-day event this year because it will be 250 years. If they do that, it's going to be on the 3rd and the 4th. So we've typically not tried to compete with that. So yes, Mayor, our preference would be to do it on the 2nd.
I think our citizens are used to not having it on the 4th anyway, so.
So the second would be Wednesday?
Thursday before the observed national holiday.
Okay. And you said a rain day too, so what would you
We would talk to
suggest?
staff, but I would guess if we went with the 2nd, we'd probably have the very next day as a rain date, shoot for that, or the Saturday. I mean, I just have to talk to staff and see what we thought was the best. Saturday's the 4th, so we'd probably want to stay away from that. But usually if we do it on the 3rd, the rain date is the 5th. That's how we've been doing it. Really depends on where it lands during the week.
Chief Murfreesboro does it on the 4th, correct?
Are you all good with?
I'm fine with it.
And I'm good with you all determining what's best for the rain date.
Yes, ma'am.
Going with what
Okay.
that is, if y'all are.
I kind of like the 2nd because everybody's off the next day.
Yes, sir.
It not only gives staff a 3-day weekend, it still gives all the citizens a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, for the most part. We also talked about what people's families would be doing. We think they're off on the Friday, so it at least gives us that opportunity. Weather always dictates that, but, we've been lucky.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
I would ask after the Top Gun fireworks, I would ask that as y'all are looking at bidding out for fireworks, that they look at price for putting music to the fireworks. I thought that was a pretty cool addition, and depending on if that significantly ups the budget or not, I mean, I'd like for y'all at least to have some discussion about it. Thought it was
I
an
think
added.
Dave's discussed it. I know Fire has, even if it's a line item or an option for you guys to consider.
Yep.
I think it's worth it, 250th year is what Dave was talking about, so.
Yep.
Sure is easy.
Yeah.
Instead of us playing music that really don't go with it.
Yep.
All right, awesome,
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks. Todd, Chief? Chief, anything you'd like to say? You good? Okay. Casey may get you if you do. Heather? Amber?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on RC Click Fix software. That's one of the 3 that I've been implementing and the one that's taken the most work, honestly, just because we're building out. It's so much build out and meeting with different departments and bye, Casey. She hears me talk about this every day, so. Anyway, so just wanted to give you guys an update because I know that you don't always see what's going on the back end. So we will have an app for RC Click Fix. It will utilize the new branding, and it's in development right now. We've sent over all of the artwork and things like that. It's got some photos, and I can share that with you whenever that artwork comes back from development. But it will be available on Apple phones and on Android devices. So there will be an app that citizens can download and enter their request in real time, whether they're at a park and see an issue or, anywhere in the community, they can submit those issues straight from their phone. There will also be an SMS, so a messaging option as well. So they can send that, text messages straight in, and Casey will receive those through what they call a conversations piece that is also included in the software. I've been meeting with directors one-on-one to really build out their categories, and I want to thank each of them because they've given a lot of good input on how they want their categories built out to really capture the information that they need to be able to get that processed and whatever the issue is fixed timely. So we've been doing those meetings internally. We've got a meeting tomorrow with IT and with Heather, and we're going to look at building out the website landing page. There will also be a page on the website that will have the categories on it. For those that may not want to use the app, they can still access those same categories through the website and submit those issues through there too. So we're looking at building out a landing page for that. We've got a marketing meeting scheduled with SeeClickFix for next week, and they will just kind of go through their suggested marketing plan with our marketing team, and we'll build out how we're going to roll this out to the community to make sure that we get buy-in from the citizens, and also the most that we can for people signing up and really learning to use this module that we're putting into place. I think it'll be very intuitive, and there's also not just for reporting issues, but also we can send out messaging through that as well and put out notices to the public, whether it be of events or things like that. So it'll be an interactive, issues coming in, but also we'll be able to report out. So the more citizens that we can get to partake in this, the better it's going to function for everybody. So right now, with all that said, we're in the sandbox phase. That's where we've been kind of building it out on the back end. Our target date, I actually had a one-on-one with our rep today. We are looking to move the sandbox to the production phase on October 17th, and right now we're targeting a go-live date of Monday, October 20th. So we're getting close, and we just wanted to keep you guys informed. I didn't want you to think that I'd let one of my implementations fall to the wayside. And then the only other thing I have is there's one more piece to the agenda management software that will be coming that I've also been working with the legal department on. It's Municode. So Municode will integrate into our agenda management system. And so when ordinances come through for municipal code change, zoning ordinance amendments, things like that, I will have the option to include that in Municode. So it's just going to streamline more of our codification processes, and it's going to make it more user-friendly for our citizens. So not only will they be able to see the packet, but they'll also be able to see these codes in a more user-friendly fashion as these amendments come through council.
I've heard a lot of positive about the stuff that's being put online for people to be able to view, so.
Jerry got it open today, so.
Way to go, Jerry.
Yes, he was proud of that, so. Yeah, I've heard great things as well, and excited to continue to move forward with some of this technology.
Only because it falls under your area. I would like to say, I know some of us have been getting some solicitors that have been coming to the doors to homes that are on the no solicitation list. If you get those, please let us know if you can get the name of that company.
And I can actually briefly update on that as well. Mr. Peach put together a couple of form letters for me to use. They'll be on Dave's letterhead, and they will go out to companies that either solicit and that you report through the violation form, or you bring in here. I've had a couple people drop off the same things through town hall, and I'm going and plugging those in on the violation form. But there are 2 form letters that we will send out. One for those that are permitted, that are not paying attention to the no solicitation list, and those that are not properly permitted that we find out are knocking without a permit in the town. So actually sent out 8 different letters just today to different companies that we were able to identify through that no solicitation list. And then we, bye HG, no, I'm kidding. And then we also are publishing the first version of the list on the website, and it's got about 2,300 addresses on it to date. So that's it.
Great. Dave?
Just want to follow up real quick on some of the updates that Amber gave, because I should talk about meeting with the implementation consultant today for SeeClickFix, who took the time out of his day to email me directly and tell me how great it has been to work with Amber. So, great job, Amber.
I appreciate it.
Just a couple announcements for this evening. First, Halloween in the Park is coming up. We have that, the 28th annual Halloween in the Park at Sharp Springs Natural Area Park out there on Jefferson Pike. It is on Saturday, October 25th from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Some of the event highlights include free inflatables, trick-or-treating, pie eating contest. It's hard to watch. Lots of games, Haunted Maze by the Smyrna High School softball, and over 70-plus food and craft vendors. There will be costume contests, hay rides, haunted hay rides. The non-scary hay rides will be from 3 to 5:30 and from 5:30 to 8. Gets a little scarier. Costume contests will begin at 3:15 with the 0 to 3 age group categories and leading up to 15 plus at 5:45. Take a look at the information that we have on our website for exact times. Are we doing the
dog? Yes, ma'am.
Yep, this year we've added a costume contest for dogs. Saw a lot of that last year, so it should be pretty interesting.
That'll be a fun
See
one to
that?
judge.
You gonna play and let the dogs out? while they're
Probably should. That's a good suggestion. But yeah, so please come out on October 25th for Halloween in the Park. Next, I want to, although I wasn't there, we had reading in school days, and I know Mr. Spearman attended that, as well as Councilwoman Peebles and Mayor Reed, and just want to give you guys the opportunity, two of you ladies, to maybe comment on your experience there, as of course I wasn't able to attend, but I know that you did and enjoyed doing so.
Oh, I'd
you
like
want.
to say thank you to Smyrna Elementary School, Smyrna Primary School, Thurman Francis, Cedar Grove, and Browns Chapel for having me out to read. And I saw the fire department when I was at Smyrna Primary, I think. So I know you guys were out there as well. So it's always a great day to get back in the classroom. And Dr. Sullivan was out reading that day when I was at Thurman Francis. So, Raquel?
And I was at Cedar Grove and Smyrna Elementary, and it's always a pleasure. I always enjoy being around the kids and being able to spend that kind of time with them. And also glad for the other employees and staff who were able to go out and support the kids with reading in schools that day as well.
That is all.
Back to you.
Jeffrey L.?
The only thing I will say is Vice Mayor spoke of it in his prayer, is just keep the Kirk family in your thoughts and prayers. That's all I'll say.
Jerome?
Yeah, under other, before I do the public announcement, on the, Dave, on the paving schedule, I know paving plant shut down about December 15th. What do we have planned? Are we far enough collecting data to implement any kind of paving prior to that date, or are we going to try to wait till spring?
Councilman Dempsey, I don't have that information readily available, but I'd certainly be able to provide that to you and the rest of the council as soon as I can get it.
The second thing is, I had a citizen reach out to me, and matter of fact, Mayor, you know him, Thomas Tubb. He was complaining about it taking so long going to an event at the event center, but he brought to my attention the ingress egress at CVS on Old Nashville and Sam Ridley. The CVS kind of sets down in a hole, and I think
Almost hit a car there the other day.
a well care.
Yeah, that's right.
I think a well care is behind it.
Yeah.
He was asking, as part of the intersection improvements, is that Tom or Charles, can we look at that ingress egress on the CVS drive? Because what happens, you come off Sam Ridley, and that's a dedicated right-hand turn lane, even though you're supposed to yield, the people coming up out of CVS, the sight distance bad, and you don't know what people coming off Sam Ridley's
Like in the
do.
new intersection on Asheville and Sam Ridley, we will take that sweep out.
Okay.
And bring it into a 90, so you will not
Okay.
have
So
that
that-
traffic free flowing. So we will stop that, and that way they will go up through the intersection and back
Then
through.
right-hand
So
turn.
that will
Okay.
do away with that short sight distance and that sweep.
Thanks. I'll pass that on to him. I do have an announcement. Join us for the Smyrna Fire Department's open house. Bring the whole family for Fine Educational Day with us. It's Sunday, October the 12th, 2025, from 1 to 4, and it's Fire Station 6 on Morton Lane, 3640 Morton Lane. Activities and displays include car seat safety checks, 911 simulator, fire apparatus and safety demonstrations, inflatables and smokehouse. Meet Sparky the fire dog, HG, and then free hot dogs and popcorn. Come learn, explore, and celebrate fire safety with us. We can't wait to see you there.
Great. Anything on Wings of Freedom?
Thank everyone for coming out. Our attendance was down this year. I think it was UT Georgia football game. I know Sam Davis Home had an event all day that day that I think you guys went out to. But sponsorship and everything, we're looking right around $200,000 that we give back to the community. So it was still a big success.
So great. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah.
Raquel?
Okay, I have a slide also, but before I get to the slide, I want to thank the Wings of Freedom Fish Fry for your honoring of my Aunt Carolyn Peebles, who was scheduled to be this year's president, but passed away prior to being able to do that. And so thank you all also for continuing to honor her dream and bring the Tuskegee Airmen Museum for the fish fry this year. So
Hey,
thank you all for that.
We all knew her vision, and there was no way we were going to deviate from that. Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, her whole family does, so thank you for the tribute that was done on behalf of our family. And so my slide, beginning October 4th, join us at Gregory Mills Park for the Smyrna Fall Farmers Market, happening every Saturday through November the 22nd. And notice that there is a time change. It will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. rather than the 8 to 12 where it was at the depot. So from 10 to 2 p.m. There will be fresh produce, handmade goods, and a chance to support our local farmers and makers. So please come out and join us and shop local. Not trying to steal your thunder, it's on the paper. Shop
You
local.
go, girl. Can't say it enough.
HG?
Okay. I have two slides. We've been waiting 2 years for our depot days because they were rained out last year. And I was looking at the weather forecast and it looks very good. So tomorrow, the Depot District Car Show begins at 6 o'clock and goes till about 8:30. And Mike, what's the earliest somebody can bring a car in there?
I mean, they could get there early as 4 or something like
Okay.
that. We'll block it off up there at the front.
Because we are limited to the numbers of cars that we can get in. I mean, we reach a point where we have to cut it off just because of limited space.
As soon as that fills up, we'll cut it off, or at 5:45.
Okay, very good, very good. So Depot Days is the 26th and the 27th, but we do kick it off with the Classic Car Show hosted by Smyrna Parks and Rec. All proceeds support local charity. Chief Brian, you gonna bring a car out there tomorrow? Okay, very good. We're looking forward to it. And then the big day itself is Saturday, the 27th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This will be the 16th annual Depot Days Festival. We have live music on 2 stages. There's, I think I heard 120 vendors, food and artisans, free inflatables for the kids and kids' activities. It is a family event, and it's a lot of fun. So if you get the opportunity to come out and we do block off the streets on Front Street, so it's just like a big open thing, and like I say, lots of good food and such as that. Also, once again, all these things integrated together. Uh-oh, the camera's gone. Be kind. There we go, okay.
Yeah, put it up higher. There you go. There you go.
Be kind. Love where you live. Help keep Smyrna litter free. Also, shop local, Raquel. It's a big part of our tax base is our sales tax, and we're going to pay for this paving. We're going to have some local purchases, and that's all I've got.
I'd like to say something about Cruise In. It's a terrific time. I'm going to have to miss it this year. My best friend growing up in school passed away, and they have services, visitation Friday, and then services Saturday in Chattanooga area. So, but HG, I think you and Steve were going to take your Monte Carlo, so.
No, not without you.
Okay, yeah.
But our condolences to you for your
Yeah,
friend.
thank you. His name was James Mathis. If you've seen one of us, you've seen the other. It's a hard loss.
Jerry?
Yeah, I've got a slide as well. Last Saturday, myself and Raquel attended the Smyrna High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I had the honor of pinning Richard Thomas. Richard was my 7th grade and 9th grade basketball coach. He went in as a contributor, but he had a lot to do with sports at Smyrna High School. He taught or coached baseball there as well. So congratulations to him and to everyone else. I tell you, just sitting there and looking at all of those that were inducted, and I'll go into their names in just a few minutes, and the things that they've accomplished since then is pretty amazing. There's some special people in there. The first one I've got here is Mystia Kelly Editon, and she played girls basketball, and she was actually on the same team with Miss Donna, right, Donna? And yeah, well, you was on the team, or you was helping at the team, and my wife Patty as well. She was on that same team, and they, I know that year that we went, they ended up losing in the finals of the state tournament. So on a last second shot, I keep hearing about that all the time from my wife. But also Tim Egerton. Some of you may know Tim. He played baseball.
Ed
Gleason's grandson. That's correct. And so he played baseball, and he played basketball as well, but he played baseball at Belmont afterwards. Paris Gaines. Paris was played on the same team that my son played on. Basketball, football. He went in as a football, and just to hear about Paris. And he played at the Naval Academy, and also was the co-captain there on his senior year. So and I got to talk to him a few minutes, and just a pleasure just to talk to that young man and to hear his story. So also Allie Marler, she played soccer, and didn't get to see her as much, but I heard a lot of good things about her. And also Josh Meek in bowling, and then Brett Warner in basketball. And you can probably out of that picture figure out which one Brett is, and the tall one there. The tall one there. But got to see him play as well, and was a really good player. So also they anytime you win a state championship, they put you in the Hall of Fame as well. And the 2019 bowling team went into that. They were state champions, but not only that, they were national champions that year. They went undefeated, but we're national champions. I think we've got a sign out coming into town about that team. So congratulations to all of them and all their family. You saw a lot of smiles on their faces and families, and very proud, and I don't blame them. They should be. So congratulations to them. And Jerome, sorry also about your loss as well, losing your close friend. That's tough. And then also wanted to say condolences to the Caroline Taylor family, Cheryl Taylor and Debbie Gill, their mother. So I just want to say condolences to them as well. So that's all I've got.
Steve?
I've just got a couple of things. I want to wish my daughter a happy 29th birthday. Her birthday was September 21st, Sunday. And my grandson is a month old on Monday. So it's hard to believe it's already been a month. He'll be in college in no time. We got one slide, United Way of South Central Tennessee Community Celebration. Myself and about 13 or 14 other town employees, including the mayor, and I won't go through the list, but there was a lot of us there. We were honored to join the United Way Community Celebration, and we're recognized as one of their top 10 corporate partners, the town of Smyrna. The recognition reflects our ongoing commitment to supporting the community. But mostly, the funnest part was special congratulations to our finance director, Sierra Lowry, who was awarded the Employee Campaign Manager of the Year for the United Way of South Central Tennessee. I believe they said she raised more than $100,000.
It was a group effort.
Yeah, well, but the activities you participated in raised more than $100,000 this year, and so thank you, Sierra. Very proud of the work that you do there, and obviously representing the town very well. So thank you.
I think
That's all.
our golf tournament is the largest event that United Way has, isn't it? So kudos to our staff and to our employees and to those that come out and participate. It's making a difference. For one team, for sure. Thanks, Steve. Mark?
Yeah, I've got a couple slides up here. Join TDOT at the Smyrna Event Center Tuesday, September 30th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. for the I-24 Southeast Choice Lanes Project public meeting. It's your chance to learn more about the project, to share your feedback, speak directly with the project team. Don't miss the opportunity to have a voice in this important transportation project. The Choice Lane Project, as you all have probably heard, is TDOT's way of trying to reduce some congestion there at some of our interchanges and also on the interstate. So try to attend that if you can. Secondly, fall break at the Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center. Celebrate fall with the family fun at the SOAC and Sharp Springs Park. The events include themed outdoor games, activities at Sharp Springs Park on the 6th of October, Wizarding Fun with Happy Halloween Harry. On October 7th, Creative Crafts at the Mini Monster Mash. October 8th, the Pumpkin Pursuit on October 7th and 8th. From games and costumes to crafts and treats, there's something for all ages to enjoy throughout the week. Jerry, I'm glad you mentioned Carolyn. I too knew that family, still do know that family rather well, and a lot of people don't know that Miss Carolyn, the longest member at Stones River Baptist Church. I used to attend that church many years ago when I was in a younger grade and grew up at Stones River Church. And Miss Carolyn and Denny were there, and Cheryl and Debbie and the family. So thank you for mentioning them. She taught 4- and 5-year-olds at that church for 60 years. Wow. So she's leaving a legacy. She was 94 years old. So we hate to see our older generation dying off like that, but our condolences go to Cheryl and Debbie and the family, the entire family, with the loss of their mom. And Jerome, condolences to you for the loss of your friend. And that's all I have there.
Couple of items. Congratulations to Stonecrest Family Dental on their recent ribbon cutting ceremony. Welcome to Smyrna. They are in front of the Public Shopping Center on Lee Victory. And want to thank everyone who came out for the 6th annual Top Gun Night Run. It was our largest event yet. We had 821 people registered, and we had 686 that crossed the finish line. So thank you to everybody that was a part of it. If you came out, I hope you enjoyed it. The fireworks were the big surprise this year, and we were really happy with how they turned out. I want to thank the Top Gun Night Run committee that puts this on, Jimmy, Marty, Mike Moss, Amber, Casey, Heather, Dave. Yes. So thank you all so much for making it a huge success. Since we've met last, I've met with a couple of people I just want to say thank you to. Cry Like Realtors, thanks for having me out to talk about the town of Smyrna. Had a really good Transportation Policy Board meeting with Middle Tennessee mayors to talk about state projects, so thanks to that. We got the United Way celebration. We had a really good meeting here about choice lanes with TDOT and staff about what we have to look for. Some real opportunities that are coming down the pike for us here in Smyrna. So we'll be having quite a few meetings with them about that. Stonecrest, yesterday I was asked to speak at the Stonecrest Certificate of Need meeting in Nashville for there to be a freestanding ER that is a TriStar hospital there, and they were approved. So at the corner of South Church and Warrior Drive, where you're turning to go to Riverdale, I think it used to be an Eckerd, that will now be a freestanding ER for TriStar. So we were happy to be a part of that. Had a really good meeting today with Dr. Sullivan, our superintendent, Mayor McFarland, Mayor Carr, Mayor Cole, Mayor Lehman, and myself to talk about the school system, to talk about growth, how that we as communities can help with that. So we had a really great conversation. We're going to meet on a quarterly basis. We're going to have to meet before that with some items that we had come up, but thank you to them for meeting. I want to thank the Mid-10 Hot Rodders. Jerome, I know you weren't able to be there, but they asked me to come out on the Saturday of the fish fry, so thank them for having me out. And just want to remind people of a special called meeting we're having on September 30th from 2 to 5 here to talk about the proposed development out on the other side of 840. So, anything else? No? If there's nothing else, we're adjourned.